All right, welcome guys to the tutorial today. I'm just going to go over the basics of the different types of Boolean and how to use the Boolean in a simple way. Okay, nothing complicated. Now, what I'm going to do, let me show you. All right, I set up a button on the screen, and when I click this button here, it is going to display a message. All right. Um, it's going to display either true or false to the screen. All right. Now, you have two types of the Boolean variable. All right. You have get and you have set. Okay. So you can think of the Boolean get Boolean variable as you're unpacking values, preset values already stored in the variable, and you're applying it to something else. Okay. And the set variable is you can think of as say you want to set values where you want to input a value into it. Okay. So let's go ahead. All right. Right now we're going to focus on the set Boolean. Okay. All right. So when you have an empty checkbox, that means it's already has a false value. If you have a checkbox with a check in it, it has true value. Okay. So what you're seeing here on this line is when I click the button, it's gonna execute whatever's on line A. And then when I click the button again, it's gonna execute what's on line B. So when I click the button, it's gonna execute line A, which is a false value, and it's gonna print that string onto the screen for us to see. All right. And the same for line B. When I click the button, it's going to print what's on line B, which is true value. All right. It has a check mark. So it means the value is set to true. And it's going to take that true value and print it onto the screen for us to see. All right. So let's go. All right. As you can see, when I press this button, it's going to show false. It's executing what was on line A. All right. Now, when I press it again, it's going to execute what was on line B, which was true value with the check mark in the box. Okay. And you just keep doing it. All right. I won't overcomplicate things, but as we go on, if you guys would like to know, flip flop just allows you to flip from two lines from A to B. All right. So if you want uh, this one button to do two separate things, you would use a flip flop. Okay. But it's not necessary. But for this example, this is what I'm using. Okay. So that's how you use the set variable for the Boolean. All right. Now let me go on. I'm going to attach that, and we're going to focus on the get Boolean. Okay, the get Boolean. Now, whenever you create a variable, okay, you can always assign it a value of some sort. Now, for the Boolean, the Boolean either has a true value or a false value. Okay. Right now, the value of this Boolean that I created has a false value because there's no check in it. All right. If I put a check in it, this tutorial, this Boolean variable that I created, it now has a true value. Okay. Now, if I uncheck it, it now has a false value. Okay. So this variable, this get Boolean variable, all right, the value of it is determined on what I set. Okay. So it can either be true or it can either be false. Now, you have something called a branch. All right. A branch provides you a condition. So if I disconnect this, a branch provides you a condition of true or false. And when you create, when you're creating a variable or Boolean of your own, all right, you can set a value to it and plug that condition into this branch. All right. And from this branch, it's going to have a true line, what happens when it's true, and it's going to have a line of what happens when it's false. Okay. So based off of your true or false value for your Boolean, all right, it's going to determine what happens on each line that's executed. Okay. So right now, my tutorial value is, we'll leave it at false. Okay. It's on false. So when I plug it in to the condition, so it's saying if this variable is false, then it's going to go along the false line and it's going to print no. So let's go ahead and test that right now. Okay. Um, so when I click this button, the value of the variable is false. So we should see no when I click this button, right? No. Why? Because the value of the variable is set to false. All right. And the branch is telling the engine, okay, the value of this variable is false. So let me execute what's supposed to happen when the value is false, which is this, okay, what you see right here. All right. Now, what I want to do, I'll click on the get variable for the Boolean. Now I'm going to set the value to true. Now, the value of this variable is true. Okay, so what's going to happen? It's going to execute whatever's on the true line. Okay, which is yes. Okay, it's going to print yes because it's executing what's on the true variable because I set the value of this variable to true. Okay, so let's go ahead and use that example. Go ahead and compile. So when I click this button, since my variable is set to true, when I click this button, it's going to execute what's on the true line, which is the word yes. Yes. Okay. You see that? Simple. Again, Boolean, which makes it different from the rest, is that it has two values you can set it to. You can set it to either false, which is empty box, or true, which is a check mark in the box. And based off of that, you can do whatever you want to do with it. Okay. What it really is just a condition that you can apply if you want something to happen, if you want to change the color of something, if you want to change the size of something. It's going to be based off of it's going to be based off of a true or false value. Okay. That's the beauty of Booleans. Okay. It actually determines whether something happens or not, whether you can execute a function or not. All right. When you're using it. Okay. So, yeah, I won't overcomplicate it. I'll leave it there. Hopefully, you guys take something from this, and